everyone is looking for the blow off to end this cycle. Is it possible? I'm thinking back to October when Shiba Inu and Sandbox that you mentioned did so well. Was that maybe the top of the cycle?
It's possible. I don't think so, because I know how much institutional participation is still to come and hedge fund participation. So I don't see it being the top of the cycle. I think that what we saw was interesting because we didn't really break above highs properly a month ago. We didn't get the retail going, I've got to get in because it was headlines. Crypto makes new highs, goes up another 50% this month. We didn't get that. Sure, we got some in March, but that's pretty normal at that stage in the cycle. Feels like the cycles are elongating.
Could we have a great bull run in the first quarter, but we're inevitably going to have more bear and volatility? Or could we hit a hardcore winter where things go down and stay down?
Yes, is the answer to all your questions.
I guess it's going to be a fun year next year.
I think we'll have, it could be either. I don't know. I'm no guru. My best guess is institutional participation drives and hedge fund participation in the first quarter drives retail participation, which drives, a final stage bull market, of which ends when ETH 2.0 is launched, which I think is like by the summer. Could I be wildly wrong? Yes. But, if my view is another 5 years, then I'm just basically sure if it goes up, if crypto goes up 5x from here, will I top slice some and, pay for the big extension of my house I'm doing and stuff? Yeah, sure. But is that going to drive me out of space?
And the opposite, if we do hit, things go down 50 or 70%, and they stay down week after week after week after week, you're going to re-examine your thesis, I'm sure. But I'm assuming you're going to say, let it stay down a year. I may not like it, but if my thesis is still strong, I'm looking at an even better and bigger bounce back.
And if it stays within the log channel, let's call it the weekly or monthly log chart channel, like Amazon has and Facebook has in their entire history,
right,
then there is nothing wrong. It is just part of the natural order of volatility of a network model stock.
How could they get over that fear?
So do what I do. It sounds ridiculous, but it works really well. You put the money in, your overall risk, what you're prepared to lose. Let's say it's down 50%. That's a reasonable estimate of what you should be not concerned. We had a 50% drawdown this year. So you say, well, 50%, maybe even 60%, maybe 70%, whatever the ridiculous number is. And then you don't look at your P&L. You can allow yourself to look at the P&L at all-time highs, just so you can just smile to yourself. You don't look at it. You can look at the market. I've got the charts up. I've even got the bloody hourly chart up. I don't trade hourly. I don't trade my position at all, but I look at it because I like to kind of follow the structure of the markets. So I match my investment horizon with my time horizon of the trade, and I satisfy the adrenaline buzz by messing around looking at short-term charts. I don't trade at all.
Yes.
So I just it's like 80% Ethereum now and 20% in an equally weighted basket. Guess what? My second biggest holding right now is Sandbox, which is a I love metaverse token because it went up 20x in a month and a half. And you don't know what's going to move. These layer ones are doing well. Just own a basket of them. And that whole game is about, okay, Ethereum is overly popular, so it's becoming expensive to use. So these ones trade off decentralization for speed and price. So, and that's fine. I just switched my portfolio towards Ethereum and now almost entirely sold out of my Bitcoin and invested more in Ethereum and then a bunch of other tokens as well. And that was based on an understanding of network effects and how many people were joining the Ethereum network and the number of applications being built on it, which is basically what drives Metcalfe's law, the value of the network. Also, I noticed that the community within Bitcoin was a little too overly tribal, and that was forcing people out of the. So we've got one community that's shedding members because it's not welcoming, another community that's very welcoming that's growing extremely fast. And, I'm a macro guy at heart, so I just look at the chart of ETH versus Bitcoin and it was going to break out. So I just moved all my eggs into a different basket.
Well,
if I'm looking at it right now on my Bloomberg screen, ETH's up 430% this year and Bitcoin's up 65%. So it kind of worked.
And I believe, let me know if I'm wrong, aren't you even levered in Ethereum?
Yeah, I own calls. I've got some calls in December that's probably going to expire worthless. And I've got calls out in March. So I don't use leverage in a traditional sense of where I can lose my position, a put call option.
If you had to pick one from a market cap perspective in relatively short, only 5 years, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, who has the highest market cap in 5 years?
Ethereum.
And in 10 years, you would feel the same?
Don't know. Less visibility, right? We just don't know what the world looks like. Could be ICP. We honestly don't know. And I think we'd be foolish to make that guess. But over 5 years, it's pretty difficult to see the gap between Solana or whichever one it is and Ethereum entirely diminished. I do think Ethereum dominance, like Bitcoin dominance, will go down over time. Crypto, with 150 million users, is growing at 113% a year. So we go, because it's an exponential trend, we go from 150 million users to 1 billion users by 2024. That's how fast this is growing. Currently, it's a $2.5 trillion market cap. If we look at how fast tokenization is eating into other assets and growing itself, and we look at those adoption numbers, then the reality is all of the other asset classes, global equities, global bonds, global real estate, are all between 200 and 350 trillion, with the derivative market being 1 quadrillion and FX even bigger. So the thought process is that therefore, if crypto goes to 250 trillion, which sounds about right, and it's
100x in 10 years
of an entire asset class, we've never seen anything like that. Mankind has never seen a larger wealth creation opportunity in a shorter period of time in all of history. Even oil didn't happen as fast as that because there wasn't enough uses for it. This, because it's digital and built on top of the internet, means you've kind of got Metcalfe's law on top of Metcalfe's law. So the exponentiality of the returns is simply gigantic. Now, let's say Raoul's an idiot and it all goes to zero. So the downside is, let's say I'm going to use Ethereum and let's call it 4,000. So we lose 4,000, but if it goes 100x up, you would take that risk reward forever. Now, it's not going to zero. Is it going to go down 50% to 2,000? Let's say that's the risk. So it's 50% downside, 100x upside. Okay, that's a 200 times risk reward. This is why nobody cares about most of the macro stuff anymore, because we all saw the rise of the other Metcalfe's law business models like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple, even Tesla. And we're seeing this again, but in an entire asset class of which we can participate this time as both participants in the networks and owners of the networks. And it's available to everybody.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.